I could give some intro into Seamless as well as Base. So maybe show of hands, who here is familiar with Base, the layer 2? OK, cool. So Base has become big quite fast. I think just a year ago, it wasn't created yet. So the fact that people know about it, there's things that exist on it, from meme coins, which have become popular, to DEXs, to different integrations and technologies. I think that's great. In my opinion, so a lot of this will be just based off of my opinion as a core contributor. But maybe I'll start with just my background a little. I had initially started in the AI world in Web 2. So it brought a company to get listed on New York Stock Exchange, really just worked on being at a part of a startup really early, spent a lot of time there, and was able to see it come through. Then I had joined Certic as the first employee and the COO. I built a lot of Certic to what we know today to become the largest security auditing firm in the space. I had left after our unicorn round, or our double unicorn round. We're valued at $2 billion, and we had brought in Goldman Sachs and some other investors. Then I decided to leave and build something or contribute to something on my own. So from there, I created Seashell, in which I'm the CEO. We have investors such as Mark Cuban, Khosla, Coinbase, the founders and funds from Polygon, Solana, Avalanche, and others. And we really just helped focus on bringing in the masses into the space. We're a development company that tries to focus on building the best ways to bring in more people. I also am a contributor to Seamless Protocol. So Seamless Protocol is a fair launch decentralized protocol. And it is known to be the first Base token listed on Coinbase. And so we were there on Base from a very early stage to where it is now. So I could talk a little bit about how we are trying to give back to other builders on Base, as well as support the Base ecosystem, because what we feel is that Base is not even close to reach its full potential, and there's a lot to go, even though it is one of the biggest layer 2s in this space. So the title of this presentation is Base is for Everyone, especially for builders. We'll be talking about how we help support the ecosystem of different types of builders to uplift the ecosystem as a whole, and some of the exciting things in Coinbase collaborations that have come about. Next slide, please. So just a little bit about Coinbase, or about Seamless. I'll start a little bit about that, and then go into this. So Seamless is the largest Base native lending and borrowing protocol in the space of Base. We were there at the beginning, and we at one point were the #1 in TVL of all Base apps. But as a lending and borrowing protocol, you don't want to be the biggest piece of liquidity in the space, because if somebody has collateral they need to liquidate, it would be unfortunate if you liquidated too much collateral. So a lending protocol should not be bigger than the DEXs, for instance. So Aerodrome and Seamless were both two of the major protocols. And it's found a better balance at this point to make sure that Base itself doesn't have a liquidity crunch. Some of what differentiates Seamless is it starts as using the Aave contracts, so that there is trustworthy contracts for lending and borrowing. But then it also understands that there's a pool of capital. And in this space, about 99% of people who borrow know exactly what they want to borrow for. It's not like maybe a normal general purpose loan that you might see in the traditional world. People don't just take loans because they need to pay for food and gas and groceries. Instead, people know why they're taking a loan. And usually it is to farm some tokens, or to hedge a position, or to get some excess liquidity to use somewhere. And so knowing that, we've actually integrated the two. We have the deepest pool of liquidity with the automated strategies. And so when you combine the two, it's more similar to maybe a home loan, like a mortgage, where you know the money is spent for one place in one specific place, and that's for a home. And so you're able to get better rates and actually access a deeper pool of capital as a result. Ultimately, it means there's automation for the users, and they don't need to think about, I go from this app to this app, but rather they're all in the same app. So you can have your position strategically put, and the smart contract could automatically rebalance it according to the risk of the space. So we've had over 50,000 users using the protocol, which has been a very large achievement, given Basis is still coming. But we think that's just the start. I'll go forward. into some of the next slides and talk a little bit about just what makes us different, how we're trying to evolve lending and borrowing. So one of the main pieces, I talked about my background a little bit, but one of the main pieces is security. We want to make sure that when you use a protocol, your money does not get rug pulled, does not have liquidity problems. Fundamentally, we really want to focus on this being a safe platform for people to reliably use. And so we've worked with, we're the only lending protocol that works with both Gauntlet and Chaos Labs, two of the leading economic risk advisors in this space. And we also were formally verified with Certora as well. So really trying to make sure that the security is there. And then working pretty closely with Coinbase. So there's integrations with Coinbase Wallet. But there's also other things that are naturally embedded in the protocol to make sure that it is indeed easy to use, efficient, automated, and really gets the job done for the next wave of users. Next, please. So the growth of Base is very clear. I think a lot of people here have said that you're familiar with Base. But in less than 1 year, you can see that it's really shot up, substantially so in the last month or two. It's tripled, quadrupled, or whatnot. But we think that it's still yet to come. There's still more to be had. And Base is just starting and just based on just doing its introduction to the wider space. And that definitely includes retail, who have really yet to come in. Coinbase, in our opinion, has not put the full force into supporting Base and really making sure everyone's on chain. So we think that there's going to be a wave that we'll all know and feel when it happens. Next slide. So what we want to talk about, when we were focusing on building Base itself, we really worked on supporting the entire ecosystem. And so with that, we've created a grants program that was led by the community as a grassroots effort. It is decided, operated, controlled by a council of SEAM token holders. And it's helping select the next wave of innovation and helping boost different builders in this space. And it ranges from a handful of different things. Next slide. So the Community Grants Program is called the SCGP. This is a grassroots. It's inspiring innovation, and it's given out several $100,000 already in grants. And the unique piece of this is fully built by the community and developed and chosen by community. So we've worked with with Coinbase pretty closely to help support the builders on that side. The Ventures program has their own Base ecosystem fund. This is intended to bring builders onto Base, and it's a community-led effort that makes it unique that is led by a project as opposed to led by a single organization. Next slide. So some of the areas of focus that the program was focusing on. So initially, like I mentioned, liquidity was something that Base needs to build. And so a lot of the focus was to gain innovation in more deposits or more technologies, better governance, so more voting, more topics, and more integrations. But it's actually since evolved even further. Announced a couple weeks ago, actually maybe last week, was that Seamless had partnered both with Degen, the layer 3 meme coin, Farcaster-supported tipping coin, as well as Pandora. So two separate entities, but both of which bring in their own waves of innovation. For Degen, you're seeing a meme coin evolve to a 2.0 version of sorts, going from just a coin to its own chain on an L3 on Base. Very innovative, and we're looking to see what happens there. The grants under that are supporting any builders in the space who are building Farcaster frames or building on the L3. You would be getting grant support from both Seamless and Degen. And on Pandora's side, that is an ERC. They're the original ERC 404, so the first tokens that merge NFTs with ERC20s. They are heavily focused on Base and really working to try to instigate and inspire more creators to build more things, see if that could be the next wave of meme coins, for instance, where you hold a certain amount of coins, and then at that point you get a special meme that appears in your wallet. It's just a lot of this innovation is really just starting to scratch the surface. And so this is something that we're very proud of working with different community contributors to keep pushing this forward. two of the original grantee awardees. So these are two that we want to highlight. We did give Coinbase Seam tokens so that Coinbase could directly vote and contribute into the seamless ecosystem. So Coinbase is a holder and looking to support. There's been integrations in the past. There's integrations potentially in the future. So we're really excited about this and making sure that Coinbase has a say in directly some of the apps that are really building on the Base network. The other one is Infusion, which you can learn more about on infusion.finance. Infusion is a new type of AMM that you lock in your LP positions to get more fees as a result. So the idea of Infusion is that instead of just locking in your LP tokens and then putting it on a third-party site, it actually integrates directly into the dApp. And so at that point, you're able to make sure that you get a reward for locking in for 3 months, 6 months, a year, and you could actually make more by being a diamond holder, in which you might intend to not sell anyway. So with that, we want to just conclude and actually just offer up support for all of the builders in this space, or all of the builders in-house. For Seamless, we have worked with some of the biggest projects, some of the smallest projects, a lot of who's in this space, because what we see is a natural progression. You start by adding liquidity on a DEX. At the point you have enough liquidity on a DEX, there's a lot of trading going on, a lot of fees accrued. You want to also enable your community to do more with their own tokens. So it includes maybe lending against the DEX token, or just lending directly with the token itself, allowing people to continue the process, similar to what a lot of people are familiar about and would be in the future talks of restaking. In this space, what we've seen is people don't want to stop. They want to continue with the tokens and keep doing more and more. And so what we're trying to do is help enable a world in which Base has enough liquidity that new markets could also open up in lending and borrowing. New markets that aren't necessarily only blue chips, but rather some of the biggest innovators in the space. So we make altcoin lending and borrowing markets as well. By working with the risk providers that we've talked about in the previous slides, we think we're able to open up a bigger market. That's what is normally used to in the space for long-tail assets to exist, while also maintaining risk tolerance so that there aren't some underlying core problems with how liquidators would work or collateral works. So with that, we believe we're just getting started. And if there's anybody out here who's building on Base, please check out the Seamless Grants program. There may be some grants for you. But go into the discourse, follow Seamless Protocol to learn more, and we're happy to help. Thank you.